Everybody, Weston here with the Hidden Gibbon, back with another Daily Deck Tech video and another viewer request. This one was Miirym Sentinel Wyrm, and we got to, have a little fun, play with a pretty high budget today. Not something that I normally do. We're aiming for something that can compete at Bracket 4. I did only put 3 Game Changers in, so although it is Letter of the Law Bracket 3, again, we are aiming for Bracket 4 here. So, without further ado, if you like my deck techs, feel free to drop a comment in the comment section if you want to see your commander made into a deck tech. If you like what I'm doing over here at the Hidden Gibbon, feel free to subscribe. You don't have to. It's just if you feel I'm doing a good job. I do have some discussion content and some more budget-aimed content, and I will later today be releasing my first episode of Magic for the Working Class, which are a series of deck techs that are all focused on having decks be under $100. I know there are some popular gimmicks around that, but I wanted to make sure that because at the end of the day, I'm working class too, and most of my decks are pretty cheap as well. So let's get straight into this, shall we? So we have Miirym Sentinel Wyrm. Miirym is a 6/6 for 3 generic and then green, blue, red, has flying, ward 2, and whenever another non-token dragon enters the battlefield under your control, create a token that's a copy of it, except that token isn't legendary if that dragon is legendary. So of course the goal in Miirym decks is to copy a bunch of really strong ETB effect creatures, get some high value out of those creatures, and then do some degenerate things. So how are we going to do that? We're running 24 creatures. So first and foremost, I'm going to get the not exciting stuff out of the way. Mana dorks and cost reducers. So we do have Birds of Paradise in this deck. Dragon Lord's Servant is in this deck, which is, it reduces dragon spells by 1. Fanatic of Ronus, which adds a green unless you have a creature power 4 or greater, then it adds 4. And then we have Dragon Speaker's Shaman, which also makes things cost cheaper. And right here we have Temur Battle Crier, which is during your turn, spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each creature you control with power 4 or greater. And then Sarkhan, Soul of Flame, dragon spells you cast cost 1 less to cast, and whenever a dragon you control enters, you can have Sarkhan become a copy of it till end of turn, except its name's Sarkhan, Soul of Flame, and it's legendary in addition to its other types. So those are our ways to make things a little bit cheaper. Now for the big splashy stuff. We have Ancient Silver Dragon in this deck, which is a 8/8 for 8. It flies, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you roll a d20, and then you draw cards equal to the result. You have no maximum hand size for the rest of the game. This is a high-end kind of, card advantage engine. It does cost 8. Hopefully your cost reducers and ramp will help you get this out there faster. We have Atarka World Render. Atarka has seen better days, I will admit that. It's a 6/4 for 7. The reason that we're throwing it in here today is not for it itself, but because whenever a dragon you control attacks, it gains double strike until end of turn, and that's very strong for things like Ancient Silver Dragon and Ancient Copper Dragon, which have smack opponent effects. And it doesn't hurt that he has trample and flying as well. We have Balefire Dragon in here, which I don't know why, but the art on this particular version always reminds me of Red Eyes Black Dragon from Yu-Gi-Oh! I used to play that in high school back in the day. But it's a 6/6 for 7, flying, and when this creature deals combat damage to a player, it deals that much damage to each creature that player controls. Again, we're going to be getting double of these with our Miirym. So 2 Ancient Silvers, 2 Atarkas, 2 Balefires. Balefire can very quickly end people's days. We have Deceptive Frostgite, which is a 1/1 for 2, and you can have this creature enter as a copy of a creature you control power 4 or greater, so any of your dragons, except it's a dragon in addition to its other types. Shocker, guess what? It's already a dragon. And you're going to get 2 of these, which then can clone 2 of your other big dragons. We have Dragonborn Champion, which is trample, and whenever a source you control deals 5 or more damage to a player, draw a card, which is pretty good, Ancient Copper Dragon, whom I mentioned just a minute ago, is extremely expensive at $100. I actually have several of these, which when they were cheaper, opened a few. But it's a 6/5 for 6, and has flying, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you roll a d20, and you get a number of treasure tokens equal to the result, right? So this is another one of those that's really going to benefit from the double strike of Atarka. It's going to really benefit from getting an extra copy, because that's just 2 of these you have to, like, things like Ancient Silver Dragon, Ancient Gold or Copper Dragon, Ancient Balefire Dragon are all things that you absolutely have to answer as an opponent. And when there are two of them, you are eating so much of their removal that they won't have enough for some of your other things. We have Goldspan Dragon in here, who looks like Thunderchild. Let's be honest here. He's a 4/4 for 5. He has flying and haste, and whenever this creature attacks or becomes the target of a spell or ability, you create a treasure token. And treasures you have, tap, sack, add 2 mana of any one color. So this is great. You get 2 of these, and then if somebody actually targets it at instant speed, you get the treasure as a reaction, and then you can respond to the spell, which is pretty cool. We have the Hellkite Charger. Hellkite Charger's in here to give us infinite combats. It goes very well with Ancient Copper Dragon and Old Gnawbone here. It's flying, haste, and whenever it attacks, you can pay 7. If you do, untap all attacking creatures after this combat phase. There's an additional combat phase. Pretty strong. Especially, like I said, with Old Gnawbone here, who's a 7/7 for 7, and has flying, and whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, create that many treasure tokens. Not just him, any of your creatures. And when you're going to have 2 of them, plus Hellkite Chargers, etc., you can essentially generate infinite mana and do a whole bunch of things that are really, really degenerate. We have Kega, the Tide Star. It is flying, and when it dies, gain control of target creature. You'll get 2 of these. One is legendary, one's not. And then when they die, you get to steal things of opponents, which is always good. We have Lozen, Dragon's Legacy, flying, and whenever you cast an adventure spell, which we don't really have any, or a dragon spell, Lozen deals damage equal to that spell's mana value to any target that isn't a commander. Which, yes, you can't murder somebody's commander, but when you cast like an Old Gnawbone for 7 or an Ancient Silver Dragon for 8, you're going to be doing a whole bunch of damage, especially if you have 2 of these out there from Miirym. We have Phyrexian Metamorph to clone things. We have Renari, Merchant of Marvels. You can cast dragon spells as though they had flash. Roaming Throne, of course. You're going to name dragon as it enters. You name creature type. Roaming Throne is the chosen type in addition to its other types, and if a triggered ability of another creature triggers of the chosen type, it triggers an additional time. Holy God, say that 5 times faster when you're as tired as I am. Which means you would get to get another copy of each creature there. We have Scourge of Valkus, flying, and when it or another dragon enters the battlefield under your control, it deals X damage to any target, where X is the number of dragons you control. This also can get out of hand extremely quickly. Spark Doubles here to copy more creatures, which then generate you more copies. And then Terror of the Peaks, which is an absolute demon. Flying, and spells your opponents cast that target Terror of the Peaks cost an additional 3 life to cast. And then whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, Terror of the Peaks deals damage equal to that creature's power to any target. You get 2 of these in play, or even 3 if you've had it cloned or roaming throned, and then you'll end people exceedingly quickly with this card. Then we have Thrakus the Butcher. He's a 3/4 for 5 trample. Whenever Thrakus the Butcher attacks, double the power of each dragon you control until end of turn. Pretty fun, pretty straightforward. He's kind of like a Tarka. Serves the same role, but for a couple less. Sorceries. We have to ramp. It is something we have to do, so we have Cultivate, Kodama's Reach, Sky Shroud Claim, Nature's Lore, Rampant Growth, and Farseek. Those are those. We are running Rite of Replication in here because we can generate lots of mana, make copies of our stuff. Last March to the Ends, can't be countered. Draw cards equal to the greatest toughness among creatures you control. Then put any number of the creature cards from your hand onto the battlefield. Busted. Sorry. We have Echo Casting Symposium. I'm really sorry about yawning. I'm up late here and was up early. Target player creates a token that's a copy of target creature you control. Has Paradigm. So then exile the spell. After you first resolve a spell with this name, you may copy it every single upkeep. This is a fixed version of an old mechanic called Epic, which was on some Kamigawa cards, which was terrible. It only let you cast that spell for the rest of the game, and then it copied every upkeep. Then, of course, we have Jeska's Will. Choose one. If you control a commander, you can choose both. Add a red for each card in target opponent's hand. Exile the top 3 cards of your library. You can play them this turn. Simple, straightforward. Instance. We are running an Offer You Can't Refuse, Arcane Denial, Negate and Swan Song, and Counterspell for counter magic in this deck. We are running Beast Within, Pungify, and Rapid Hybridization for removal. For protection, we have ourselves some Heroic Intervention, a little bit of more removal as Chaos Warp, Ramp and Entish Restoration, and then Second Harvest, create for each token you control, create a token that's a copy of that permanent. This will create tokens of your copy tokens. For our artifacts, we are running Arcane Signet, Soul Ring, Conjurer's Closet to blink dragons, they'll come back into play, Miirym will copy them, Panharmonicon to double the triggers, and then we are playing the Dragonkind Orbs, which are mana rocks and do various effects with them, as well as Herd Heirloom, which is add 1 mana of any color, spend this mana to cast a creature until end of turn. Target creature you control power 4 or greater has trample, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. It's a fun little mana rock. For our enchantments, we have Aggravated Assault. This combos with Old Gnawbone, usually with Ancient Copper Dragon as well to get you infinite combat steps. We have Doubling Season, which doubles the amount of tokens you make. Same with Parallel Lives. Then we also have ourselves Garroka Uprising. Draws a card if you have a creature power 4 or greater. Creatures you control have trample. And then whenever a creature you control power 4 or greater enters, draw a card. Temur Ascendancy. Creatures you control have haste. Whenever a creature you control power 4 or greater enters, you can draw a card. Dragon Tempest. Whenever a creature you control flying enters, it gains haste until end of turn. And whenever a dragon you control enters, it deals X damage to any target, where X is the number of dragons you control. This is a very strong enchantment for 2. And then we also have Rhystic Study in here for one of our other game changers, which of course is if an opponent casts a spell, they have to pay 1. If not, you get to draw a card. Then we have ourselves our lands. We are running Ancient Tomb in here for our 3rd game changer. We are running Arena of Glory to give things haste, Boseiju for a tiny bit of removal, Odawara to bounce something, Cavernous Souls to make our dragons uncounterable. We are still running 21 basics, and that is because of all the basic fetches we have. We have check lands in here, and we have shock lands in here as well. We do have Reflecting Pool and Ketria Triumph as well. So that's the build for the deck, all right? So let's hop on over to playtesting and see what we've got going over here today. I'm going to go out by 1, so that way I have my buttons. At the start of the game here, we have 2. We do have a Nature's Lore, which lets us search for a forest. It doesn't have to be a basic. So let's draw for our turn, shall we? I will drop this forest down. Next turn, I'm going to go ahead and draw an island. I'm then going to cast Nature's Lore. We need a red, so we're going to view our library, and we are going to grab Stomping Grounds. We are going to let Stomping Grounds come into play tapped. There's no reason to shock ourselves for 2 when we don't have anything to do with it. We are going to drop our Carnelian Orb of Dragonkind, which is at a red. If that mana is spent on a dragon creature spell, it gains haste until end of turn. We are going to drop a forest. And we are going to drop Birds. I don't know why I tapped that. Birds of Paradise. Be good. Next turn. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 available. Now, you can run out your Miirym on this turn, but it's probably going to eat some sort of removal very quickly. So something I would do, actually, is tap for red, dump, bump. And I would run out Goldspan Dragon and bring in the beats and get yourself a treasure token. It's cool that that token's not loading. Cool. But yeah, so, you know, flying haste, when it attacks or becomes a target spell ability, it gets that. And our treasure's tapped for 2. So now we have 3 mana available, so we can even Heroic Intervention if we want to. On our next turn, we're going to draw, which is fine. Again, I am not going to run out Miirym yet. I am, however, going to tap for 4, and I'm going to play Parallel Lives, which is, if an effect would create 1 or more tokens under your control, it creates twice that many instead, and I will go ahead and attack with Goldspan Dragon, which then will put us to 3 treasures because of Parallel Lives. This now lets us tap for 6, and we still have 2 available. Now is the moment where I am going to cast my Miirym. So I'm going to use those, and this leaves 2 up for this. So we have Miirym. We're going to say during somebody's turn, somebody tries to kill it, and we play ourselves a Heroic Intervention. Next turn. So we are sitting pretty here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana, potentially more if we so choose. What we are going to probably do here, though, is we are going to run out Scourge of Valkus for 1, 2, 3 red and a blue and a green. And so Scourge of Valkus comes out, and we are going to create 2 copies of Scourge of Valkus because it creates a token with parallel lives. So we have 3 Scourge of Valkus, which of course is the one with whenever it or another dragon enters the battlefield under your control, it deals X damage to any target, where X is the number of dragons you control. So right now we have 5 dragons, so this is going to deal 5, 10, 15. 15 damage is pretty damn good. Next turn, we're going to go ahead. Oh, actually, you know, we could attack with our Goldspan Dragon and get 2 tokens back here. Set counters. We'll do 2. So we are on our next turn. We do have a Fanatic of Ronus, but we have a bunch of mana here. And so here's what I'm going to go for. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We are going to tap for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And we are going to Rite of Replication with the Kicker, which will create a copy, and then it will create 5 tokens instead, which will create 10 tokens. We're going to target Scourge of Valkus. We're going to create 10 tokens because of parallel lives. And then that will add 10 Scourge of Valkus down, which will be 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So each one of those 10 is going to deal 15 damage, and that wins us the game. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Next game, we start out. We have our island. We have a Stomping Ground. So we're just going to run out Stomping Ground on turn 1, tapped. Next turn, we've got ourselves a mountain. And then next turn, island. And we're going to drop Rhystic Study. We're going to say we get to draw a card there. We draw for our turn. We're going to drop another mountain. And, you know, we are going to drop the Lapis Lazuli. And we are going to Farseek, search for a plains, island, swamp, or mountain. We only have 1 green source, and we need double green pips here. So what we're going to do is we are actually going to search for a... Where are you? Holy cow, breeding pool. There we are, breeding pool. So this will get us another blue source and another green source. We'll let it come into play tapped. Next turn, we draw. So we already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 available. We're going to slow roll this, and we're going to play Carnelian Orb of Dragonkind. We still have blue available for some removal if we need it. We're going to say some people are breaking the whole pay the tax. We control a mountain, so we have Arena of Glory. I, once again, am not going to run out Miirym right off the bat. Instead, I'm going to pay a red and exert this for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And we are going to run out Old Gnawbone, who now has haste because of Arena of Glory getting exerted. And we are going to swing in for 7 and get to have 7 treasures. So we are going to set that, and then we are going to use all but 1 to cast Miirym. The reason I do this is so that way we have 2 threats out all at once. Old Gnawbone getting haste let us get 2 things out at once. So now they're going to have to choose between killing the Miirym or the Old Gnawbone. On the next turn, the Arena of Glory remains tapped because it was exerted. We play another island, and now we can have ourselves some magical Christmas land. So we can go ahead and probably use Jessica's Will if we wanted to. But another option here is we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we will just run out Atarka, which then creates a copy of Atarka. And then we are going to bring in the beats with Miirym, this, and this. So 6, 12, 13, that just a ton, right? So 12, 18. We're getting 26, or sorry, 25 token treasure tokens here if nothing's blocked. We'll go optimal scenario here. So sorry. Duh. So we have 25 treasures. You know what I'm going to do here? I'm going to crack 3 treasures for Jessica's Will. We're going to say we're going to get 5 mana. And then we exile cards, the top 3 cards of our library. We can play those until end of turn. Well, that's pretty neat. I'm going to go ahead and use 4 of that red. And then 2 to play Echo Casting Symposium. We're going to create a token that is a copy of this Atarka. And now we get this every single turn. I am going to cast this, which is then going to get a copy of it as well. Add token, copy. And we still have mana available. I believe 1, 2, 5. So set this to 20. We still have 20 left. We have counter magic and removal. Jessica's Will goes there. We'll just let the heroic intervention die. And then we will go to our next turn. So in the next turn, we're probably just going to win because we get to copy. We're going to copy Thrakkus. So we have... This is when, you know, whenever a non-token dragon enters the battlefield, these are tokens. So we have 3 Thrakkus, which will each double. So then what we're going to do is we're going to 1, 2, 3, 4. So these 2 will activate. We will double the power of each of these things. And then they're all getting double strike from Atarka. And then we just win the game. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I think it's pretty high power. Again, if you like what I'm doing, please feel free to subscribe. As always, I'm Weston with the Hidden Gibbon, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.